Okay, let's dive into tonight's game. Welcome back to SideQuestsLive. We're going to be playing a live audio podcast game. It's available on Twitch and YouTube. You can also check out all our previous games on iTunes and all the other places. Shout out to, where the heck was it? Hey, Germany. That was cool. We got a bunch of listeners the other week from Germany. So I will stop in honor of that. I will stop doing any terrible German accents whenever I do an NPC. That's my promise to you that I will probably break. I will likely break that. I'm just saying. I mean, come on. Anyway, so we're going to be diving in. Let's go quick meet everybody, and then we'll dive in and continue the game from last time. Hi, everybody. Come on in. That's all you get.
Oh, right.
Hi.
Okay.
Oh, hi.
That's it. That's all you get.
All right, let's cut to credits. All right.
More of an
I'm actually not kidding.
action-oriented group rather than talking stuff.
Hold up. Sorry, I actually did roll credits. I mean, nobody else was talking. Yeah, good game, everybody. Good game. Thanks for coming out. All right, so this is episode 4, right? Although you technically more sessions than that, but this is the 4th live stream one, and I'm happy to be back here playing with you guys. It's a highlight of my week. It's a very nice thing to look forward to. Anywho, enough out of me. Go ahead, take it away, Brendan.
Okay, so why don't I just do a very quick recap of like where you are, because you've just emerged from a pretty gruesome battle against some orcs on top of a hill, and you are overlooking the sort of assembling legion of goblins that are going to lay siege to Aventail. When you were in that battle, you were accompanied by Commander Amara and her knights, who were tasked with finding the idol of Kava. You didn't find the idol, but Amara did manage to torture some information out of an orc who had surrendered. And she managed to learn that their leader, who had hired them, is a vampire who is in Watergo, which is the troll name for a bridge in which maybe a few hundred trolls live, and it is immediately to the east. You'd have to trek for quite a ways, but it is to the east, and you could reach that spot. Mara took the scrying stone of the orcs and this information, and she went back to Aventail to defend the hamlet from this approaching legion. And at the very same moment that she and her knights took off down the hill, the stone that the wizard Kemet had given to you started to light up, very bright, neon green, signaling that the wizard Kemet wants to speak to you, and since he's the one who's studying the whole prophecy of Kava thing, it might be worth your while to go and see what it is he wants to tell you, or give you, or whatever. So you have an interesting choice, and I actually left you with this choice at the end of the last encounter, and then messaged you on WhatsApp to ask you what you were going to do, but you didn't tell me what you were going to do. It was a surprise for me, so I had to design all kinds of potential outcomes. So you can either go back to Aventail to get through the doors before the siege begins in earnest. You can try to go overland to get to Watergo to fight likely trolls, possibly the vampire Sidolphus, who, of course, Lahabria is hunting. Bo is the vampire Lahabria. Oh, that's another revelation from the last encounter. Everybody now knows that Lahabria is a vampire. It's pretty obvious. You are still just drenched in blood, like orc blood, basically from the nose down. You were drenched.
Learn how to eat.
I was very hungry and cranky.
So you can go to Watergo, you can go to Aventail, or you can go up to the spot where you know the rope ladder hangs down, and you can climb up to get to the floating wizard tower of Kemet. And all of these options are open to you. None of them are safe. What do you want to do?
John thinks we should go to the wizard because having more intel is always better than rushing into a fight or rushing to be behind the wall for a siege.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, and maybe in the off chance he has some bit of magic that makes people forget things that they've seen, and that'd be very convenient for certain people in this party.
Thinking about like a Men in Black neuralizer.
Yeah.
Just like, everyone gather around. Just look into this light here.
Look into
Just
You are
use
getting
brother.
sleepy.
Yeah, just use your vampire powers to make us forget that you're a vampire.
for a round at a time.
So what is your decision? I don't want to split the party on this
Well,
one.
it's currently
That's
2
it.
against Todd. What do you say, Todd?
We
what do you say?
probably should stay on target and do the wizard thing. That's my instinct anyway.
Yeah, I feel like a vampire isn't going anywhere, and the siege isn't going anywhere. But the end of time, so that's ticking along.
Yep.
Yeah,
All right.
agreed.
So you spent most of the day fighting to get up this hill and then massacring orcs. It's a pretty pitched battle, actually. And so you're now cruising on into evening, and you can hear that the goblin activity in the surrounding areas is starting to pick up. So the goblin drummers are continuing to sort of beat and clack their drums a bit more
got good
frenzy.
rhythm.
And you can hear the sort of the creak and thud of those catapults on those wheels with the stilts that stick out, and you can hear rumblings in the wooded areas around Aventail as well, suggesting that maybe there are some other things too that are approaching with this goblin legion, which wouldn't surprise you because you already know that there were orcs who were hired as mercenaries, and that the goblins are more organized than a rabble of goblins typically are. So you've got not too much difficulty in going over land to reach the spot where you know you can get that rope ladder. I am going to ask you all for a stealth roll just to see.
Four.
7.
Sorry, the Habre was at 6.
That's correct.
Oh, well, I rolled a 3, so the goblins are obviously very on task, and trying to focus on getting to Aventail, destroying the Tree of Wands, reawakening their Kava Mama, and bringing about the end of times, because that's just the kind of thing the goblins would be into.
I'm kind of imagining them saying, one of the drummers being like, I say Kava, you say Mama. Kava.
Mama!
Kava.
Mama!
Mama.
Yep.
Mama?
That is exactly what they are doing. And because they're so distracted by that, and maybe as you walk by, you also chant, Kava, Mama, just so that they don't draw any attention to yourselves.
Is Elroy still wearing his severed face disguise?
No, they hit the wall. That hit the wall in the fight.
I mean, like wall like a pancake.
Yeah, and the rock was like,
the nose
"Whoa."
is all like floppy.
The nose was floppy before.
That's true.
Yeah.
Just floppier, and now it hasn't got anything holding it up.
So you head up to the spot. You can see it as the sun is setting, and the sky is painted with the colors of sunset. You can see this black floating tower in the sky amongst the clouds, and as you draw closer, you can hear this wish as this rope ladder kind of unfurls and drapes down to the ground, or close enough that from the top of one of those many hills that surround Aventail, you can hoist yourself up onto the rope ladder and actually climb up, maybe 100 rungs to get to the top of this, or to get to this tower. And then there's a nice little doorway, maybe like a
That's
little
why
ledge.
they used to make you do that in gym class. Right?
Just
Exactly.
They don't do
not
that
like a rope
anymore.
with, like,
They like
knots
cut
in
the
it.
ropes off. They're not even ropes there anymore. But
I guess there's fewer floating castles to climb into these days.
Sure.
Well, it's their loss.
So you head up, and as you get back into the wizard's tower, you recognize the place. There are many candles that have been burned almost straight down to the stump. There's wax that's sort of melted down onto the floor. There are bookcases filled with varied books and tomes, skulls, crystal balls, and of course many drawings, diagrams, and things that you wouldn't quite understand that are up on the walls. And there are these two clay golems that are sort of lumbering around. The golems are very asymmetrical. Like, they have one very big left arm that's used for heavy work, and then one very thin, small right arm that's used for
Just
more sort of
masturbation.
fine motor skills. I thought you said you were trying to make this more family friendly.
That was last game. This is a
too
whole
late.
new
Right.
game.
Yeah, that's over.
Okay,
late.
whole new game. It's a whole
Cock
new
ass
game.
pussy.
All right. Okay. All right. So
We'll
now
just
that we've
play the
blown
clip
barn
of
doors-
George Carlin, the things you can't say on TV.
Okay. Barn doors open now. So they're sweeping up. They're moving things around. They're making sure that the reagents are properly stored and safely. And Kemet, the archmage, he knows that you're there, and he comes down the spiral steps, and he's gesticulating wildly. He's going, "You're back! You're back! You're back!" As you will recall, Kemet is one of these wedjat creatures that is very rare. He has the face of an Arcadian hawk with these very distinct eye markings below each eye. And he's, he has this very long robe, and he has a lot of lapis lazuli bracelets and necklaces and talismans. And he has these big golden eyes, and of course the sort of sharp hooked beak of a hawk, and the flat face. And his feathers are very ruffled because he is very old, but he still very tall, hobbles down the stairs, and he says, "I've detected something. I need to tell you."
That's
He
what we
says-
came.
He's
That's
out of
exactly-
breath by the time he gets down the spiral staircase. He says, "There's something happening in Avondale. There's some kind of evil presence there that is trying to convince Contessa Vincenza that she has to cut down the Tree of Wands in order to defend the hamlet from the siege. There's something there.
Interesting.
I suspect it's demonic. Somebody is trying to convince her that this is the only way. And if I'm not mistaken, she is planning to do it. You have to get back to Avondale and find a way to convince her not to do this. Otherwise, all could be lost. As you know, if the Tree of Wands is cut down, it's one of the only remaining omens left before Kava comes back. And there's something else as well. As the tree is dying, I did more research," and he starts to sort of putter around the room, and he finds a tome, and he opens it up. He says, "I have more information about this idol," and he actually throws it open to a page, and you actually see the instructions for the creation of this idol and what it looks like. And it's sort of a hideous doll that's been made out of like a real goblin skull,
Ugh.
and then a lot of black hair that has sort of been woven through like the eyes and woven through the nostrils, and then it just drapes down and forms almost like a sack beneath the top of the skull. And the teeth have been punched out, and then there's a like a panel that's black, and it has that distinctive zigzag mouth woven with white thread. So it's like a zigzag that just goes up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. That is the grin of Kava, apparently. And you can't read any of the Arcadian script that's written there, but Kemet talks about how if he can get the idol if you can bring him the idol, then he can find a way to reverse the magic, to restore the tree to its previous state of immortality. You have to bring the idol back to me, but there's something very important for you to understand, which is that you cannot touch the idol with your bare hands. If you do, the idol will take over your mind in the same way that it has taken over the minds of so many goblins. So, don't touch it.
We will definitely remember that.
So,
yes.
And
Meanwhile,
so
I've
he
been
asks
reaching
you-
for like that wand again. Like, no, don't touch. No, I wasn't gonna. No.
You're giving us a bad name here.
So
Huh.
you can have a long rest here at in the Wizard Tower. Kemet also has one of those focal crystals. I've called it a scrying stone before, but it's not really a scrying stone in the sense you can't walk up to it the way that, you know, like the witch in the Wizard of Oz would just be like, hey, show me whatever, and it would just show her whatever.
Mirror on the wall.
Exactly, but this is more like it's more like a telescopic lens, really. And so, you know, he's able to sort of, you know, zoom in and out and take a look at what's going on in Avondale. You can do the same thing. You can take a look and see what the state of the siege is. You can look around. You can look at Watergo, and you can also have a long rest. But you have to decide what you're going to do, because if you want to get back to Avondale, then you're going to have to find a way. Because there's goblins who are assembling and creating a whole legion. And if you want to go to Watergo to try and retrieve the idol from Sidolphus, then you might encounter some resistance. I mean, I don't know. I'm just a GM. You guys have to decide.
Can this tower move? Like, could you fly us to Avondale and drop us off?
It's not very agile.
Floating, but not moving.
It's floating. It doesn't have a lot of it's not an airship. So he has some. Remember how you brought that float stone to him? And he said in that episode that he was going to have his 2 golems work on building an airship, but they're still tinkering at it, and of course it takes time because, you know, there's not that much in the way of materials up in this floating tower. So the short answer is no, he can't.
I mean, you have to bring them all up the rope, so that's gonna slow you down.
Yeah.
So John suggests taking a food break, taking a sleep break, and then heading to Avondale at first light.
Did you talk to the Countess, or learn more about who or what has been influencing her? Was that the plan?
Yeah, just bust in and crackheads.
It does seem like the bigger immediate threat, because if she destroys the tree, then that's...
Then we're all done.
Yeah.
The hard part will be getting through the legion of goblins.
Yeah.
Do we still have the little walker thing? The little with the dry pole?
I think we double back to try and
yeah.
It was really slow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have any way of getting in contact with Finnick?
Not magically from here, but you could maybe find him. There is a halfling shire over to the west called Wensleyshire.
Because maybe we could, to avoid some of the goblins, take the river up towards the hamlet. And since he's a boatman...
Yep. And he's a smuggler.
And he owes us a favor.
And smugglers have a way of moving things in and out of places, so...
They sure do.
Does the river come near here, or...?
You're on a hill.
Okay.
Or you've had to climb a hill to get to the rope ladder, so you'd have to get down the hill to reach any...
Right.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's head to Wensleydale.
Wensleydale? Yeah.
No,
cheese.
Okay.
Wensleydale.
Wensleydale.
Mhm.
And get that halfling to smuggle us in.
I think Wensleydale is the cheese that Wallace and Gromit like.
Yeah.
I think it might be.
Moon cheese, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently they were about to go to business until that, and then people started buying it again, and
Well,
Why
maybe Wensleydale will sponsor our podcast.
you like cheese. Listen to SideQuest and eat some Wensleydale.
I mean, who doesn't like
Definitely
cheese?
just name
Especially
drop
Wensleydale.
Yeah.
Wink.
Yeah.
Nothing I like more after a hard game than big old block of Wensleydale cheese. Wensleydale
I
cheese.
eat so much that my colon is completely blocked.
I like stinking bishop.
I have the
Now,
plumber
When's
on
the
speed
show
dial.
has a sponsorship.
Wink.
So is your plan then to head on over to Wensleydale? I mean, Wensleydale. What do you
Wensleydale.
got?
Yeah. John will still want to like rest and eat because
Oh,
he
yeah,
is
for sure.
a fighter, and heading off for a long journey with no preparation does not sit well with him.
Fair enough.
Okay. So you have a long rest, and
If I can as well, I want to take like John will take like 10 minutes and just like use the scrying stone to look over the siege and see if there's like try to get as much information as
He is
can.
looking at that girl that he really
Yes.
liked.
Yes, also
He is
that.
actually. Yeah.
Commander Amara.
She's pretty cool.
She was
Roll-
really dangerous, man. Are you sure?
That's what I liked about her.
Okay.
Roll a
All I know
D6,
is that when they've
sorry.
got the crazy eyes and the... Yeah, I
Roll
don't
your
know,
hint
man.
to
What if it-
determine what information you can get about the siege.
goes
That
south?
is a 5-8.
Okay, well, so you are seeing a number of things happening. First of all the surrounding farms and hunting cabins and some things that are outside of the city wall, there are people bringing their cows and their wagons and their wheelbarrows and all their pretty much everything they can carry to try and get inside the walls. And some of them are being turned away and are being told to go north to Brundal, the dwarven.
Go west.
Some
It's where the...
and some are being told to go west to go to Wensleydale. And it's and farm animals are being turned away, like no sir, like you can't bring your pig inside
That's
the
dumb.
walls.
They should eat those pigs.
Well,
Not there yet.
That's what they're doing. So they are turning people away, and some people are coming in through the walls. And at the same time, the goblins are sort of massing, right? Like they're not all rushing the walls, piecemeal as soon as they arrive. They're massing in sort of valleys and flat staging areas. And you recognize this as being like good military strategy, because they're actually going to probably form some kind of coordinated attack on the walls at various points all at the same time. And you can also see that the King's Road, which is the major road that runs between Aventail and right up and out of Southumbria, has been blocked off and is even being like actively destroyed by goblins, right? Like they're digging it up, they're putting like logs and stuff over top of it, like they're just making it totally inaccessible, so that the whole area is going to be blocked off from any help that might come from the kingdom of Tiberia. So you're going to be cut off.
That is a good siege tactic.
You're like,
It's not the worst I've seen.
you
I'm gonna
didn't get a
die.
good
I'm
look.
gonna die from somebody who knows what they're doing.
You didn't declare that you were going to take a look at the drawing in the dirt that the person made.
I thought
Oh,
I had.
what's her name did?
No,
Yeah.
I made a point of saying that Amara memorized the whole thing,
Yeah.
but she's
Yeah.
no longer with you. She's
Yeah,
I thought she would
I
be
remember
with us.
thinking that I was going to memorize the thing, but then she didn't. I was like, oh, that's fine.
Yeah, she's got it covered. We don't need to. Oh, wait, she went the
Yeah.
other way. Damn it.
So,
Wait, is this a one-way scry thingy? Could you like ask her?
no, this is a camera with zoom. It's not even a camera. Yeah, this is a telescope. So, and so you're also able to look over at Watergo if you want. You can also look at you can look at all the different places in South Umbria. You can look at Brundall.
I'm gonna take
I'm sorry, did you say we want to look at the Grundle? No, thanks.
No, Brundall. It's the Dwarven Grand Hall that is actually
it's a dwarf's Grundle.
Short.
I've been waiting like 4 episodes to make that joke.
I'm gonna take a quick look at the halfling place just to make sure it's not like
under siege.
Yeah.
Overrun and on fire.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Cool.
Frodo's fine.
There are people who are coming in, and for whatever reason, the goblins have a lot more focus in this endeavor than they typically would. So you're not seeing any goblins running amok or pillaging. All the goblins are forming these very tight, massed ranks around Avondale Hamlet, and so there are none in Wensleyshire. So the people who are being turned away at the gates and are being told to go over to the Halfling Shire actually seems like pretty good idea. And there are people who are coming in with oxen and pigs and baskets full of chickens and anything else they can carry. Tools. You see a lot of people with wheelbarrows filled with turnips and then shovels and other things, and everybody's bringing whatever valuables they can to escape the carnage, the pending carnage. And so you would probably be able to find shelter in Wensleyshire if that's what you're looking for.
Let's take a look at Watergo. La Habrea, do you know what this vampire dude looks like? No, I'm not suggesting that all vampires know each other or anything. I'm just saying.
Well, I know this one quite well, as a matter of fact.
I was just about to say, don't make assumptions, man. You don't all... Oh, never mind. You did go to middle school with him.
No, well, in this case, I do in fact know quite well. He's the reason why I'm here today, and the reason why I drink what I drink. Yeah.
I'm looking back and forth.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh. It takes a while. I'm slow.
It's like sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, let's just have a look at Watergo, and you can see if you can spot him amongst the trolls.
Yeah. I wonder if he'd show himself. But he seems quite cocky, so...
You, give me a luck roll. Just a d6.
Me or Devin?
Whoever wants to look through the glass.
Well, since it makes sense for me to look for him, I'll do it. 3.
You see a lot of trolls that are kind of lumbering around. Watergo, which has been named by trolls, is just the place where the water goes. There's a bridge that's been broken like centuries ago. This thing has crumbled, and so it's just trolls who are kind of lumbering around in a shallow stretch of water, and but you do notice that some of these trolls are not looking very good. Instead of having that sort of healthy, albeit kind of gross, green, patchy, blotchy, sometimes purplish look to them, some of them are distinctly gray and almost white.
It's oil of
Those are
gray.
vampire trolls.
And are shambling.
No.
Maybe they're zombie trolls.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, some of them you can see that the flesh is actually actually sunken away so much that you can see the shoulder blades are kind of sticking out. Or like half the face is kind of sagged right off, and there's bone. So, but they appear to be acting as regular trolls, which is to say, wandering around looking for things to eat. So,
I guess being dead doesn't really change their modus operandi much.
Eat. But so aside from the broken down bridge, there's no like living structures like where people would be, or where one might gather. Just
trolls. You guys all know this. This is just something that you would know by living in the world. I mean, perhaps Elroy doesn't know this because he's from parts unknown that he himself does not know. But troll culture is to dig a hole in the dirt and light fires and then roll really hot rocks into the hole and fill it with water so that it's just boiling mud, and then they just boil whatever roadkill or things they've managed to smash and kill, and they just boil it all in mud, and then they just drink mud soup, and they it can be a little bit communal, but then they also fight each other, and so they don't build structures. They don't tend to build things. They have a fairly flat society. There's no nobility amongst trolls. They the bigger ones tend to fare better. The smaller ones tend to fare worse.
Except for the queen troll, she just slays.
It's the hair.
Yeah. That was another run.
I passed through there as part of the caravan a long time ago. These trolls are different. These ones are all pale. The ones I saw, they rocked.
Okay. So these are more like grunge trolls as opposed to rock and roll trolls.
Ah, okay.
Anyway,
so early 90s trolls.
Yeah, so mosh pit trolls. So what...
to be fair, I think every troll is a mosh pit troll, let's be honest.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate.
Okay. So what do you want to do? You're full now, by the way.
Great. Yeah, let's go to Winsleshire and try to get ourselves smuggled into Avondale.
Perfect.
Sounds good to me. You guys seem to have a better handle on these kinds of things. I'll do the character voice a little more.
Oh, don't worry, I'll get my
We'll make plans and you stay in character.
I did want to grab a couple of things before we go, if that's okay. I just want to kind of restock some supplies, make sure my bottles and potions and tinctures are all set.
That's a great idea. And then John just scoops all the food that Kemet had given us into a little bindle. So it's grapes and stems and crackers and bits of cheese and ham, all just kind of tied up in a sack. Thanks.
Oh, I think we just lost Bo.
Oh no, he just said he's going to be right back.
Okay, cool. I didn't see that. All right.
So, all right, I'll just narrate. Bo can catch up. You stock up with whatever it is you need. And Kemet is perfectly happy to have you do this. And he he ushers you out, and you head down the rope ladder. As you're leaving, you catch a glimpse of the airship that the golems are working on. Doesn't look like much. Looks like rowboat sized. But it definitely has some kind of mechanism that's being assembled inside, sort of like a nice brass set of tubes and pipes and various things leading to the float stone, which has been properly installed in the base of this craft, but pretty far from ready. And you head down the rope ladder. And you head off towards the west, and you find your passage is unimpeded by any goblin activity, no monsters. There are some people who are coming and going. You see them, some of them are pretty distressed. Of course, they've had to leave their homes. They assume that the goblins are going to tear down their windmills to get rocks for their catapults. You assume that They've had to leave behind stores of grain and other things that they can't carry. I mean, it's going to be a tough winter. This is how medieval warfare goes. It's, people who get killed in the battle, and then there's the winter that comes, and that can be the most dangerous. So
Don't forget
they're
the
doing
disease.
the best they can.
The disease
Yeah,
is great too.
Fair enough.
And plenty
All
of corpses
around
to eat.
misery.
So they're doing their best to avoid this misery by heading into the Halfling Shire. You get there, and it is a prosperous looking Halfling Shire. There are a number of these Halfling burrows. They have that sort of that hill-shaped structure with a nice round wooden door, and sometimes nice round little windows that pop out of the hills. Sheep are good fat woolly sheep are grazing up and over and on top of these homesteads, and there are all the walkways are nicely paved with river stones, and there are sort of gardens that seem to be well kept up, and there are quite a number of these signposts, like just too many signposts, frankly, because every little tiny curved lane and nook has its own name, and they're all like, they're all thistle down, like nook and acorn squash lane and all that kind of stuff. And there are halflings out there who are actually helping people to unload some of their stuff and are being quite accommodating. And things seems to be going pretty well. You could probably stop here at an inn. I'm sure you could find one. You probably have to duck a little bit to get through the door.
Not me, baby.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure you could find a tavern where you could wet your whistle with some, classic halfling cider, the really strong stuff. There's a halfling, yeah. Or you could go straight away to start asking around about your mission. So, what do you want to do?
I would say the best way to go about asking around about our mission is Fennec would obviously be well known to the local tavern keeper. So let's go get some halfling ale or the halfling cider and ask about Fennec there.
Fair enough. So you head on into what is very clearly marked as the inn, because it's a fairly small shire, so they don't necessarily need to name any of their things. So
every street has a name, but every building is just whatevs.
It is the thing, right? This is the inn. So you duck into this nice round door, and there's a lot of halfling music going on. There's those little wheezing accordions, and there are halflings who are wearing sort of wooden-soled shoes, who are jumping up on tables, and they're dancing, and they're sort of locked arms doing jigs and things like that. You'd think that there wasn't a siege going on, basically, and part of you just wants to give them a slap and like, what are you doing? But the halflings are laughing. They're singing some jaunty and irreverent songs. Some of them about the king, some of them about escapades of a naughty nature, and it tends to be pretty jovial.
I like this town. I like this place a lot. I can look people in the eye. They have pints.
Yeah, they've got nice little half pints of cider. There's a famous shire called Cidershire, which is the cider there is shore, and it is a shire, so it's Cidershire, and you can get some Cidershire cider, and it costs you just a couple of coppers, and so you start downing these, and people they're sweating, they're out of breath, they've been dancing, they've been doing jigs, they've been trying to keep up with the rhythm and stay in tune, not necessarily successfully, and they come by onto the bar, and there's a bunch of them, and you sort of introduce yourself. There's a halfling man named Mitt, his friend Baisley. They're both courting a halfling named Maeve. And then there's another halfling lady who's jealous. Her name is Twyla. And you can very easily find yourselves just sucked into the day-to-day of these goings on. What do you ask them?
Can I live here forever? This sounds like a good zone.
As much as I would love to spend all day watching this going on, it's like a telenovela. It's haven't been invented in this world. We're looking for a guy named Fennec.
Oh
yeah.
Anybody know Fennec?
So when you ask that, the air sort of like just kind of wheezes out of the accordion, and some of the people who are dancing are just like, they kind of miss a beat and they kind of stumble, and like one of the tables actually kind of scoots as they're dancing on it, and then they kind of look around and they're all kind of grinning that grin. They're like, we know a secret and these guys don't, because they're tall fellas and they're dumb.
Yeah, those
except
tall
for they
dummies.
don't know
Fennec is dead.
Yeah.
Did Fennec like give us anything to like? I'm trying to remember if did he like tell us a way to find him in the?
He just said, "Ask for Fennec."
Okay.
And so the music starts up again, and and a halfling kind of sidles up to the bar, and he's got a half pint of cider, and he introduces himself as Alfie, and he says, "Oh, so I heard you said you were looking for somebody named Fennec. How'd you know Fennec?"
We had some business on the water, and we're looking to take a ride, but not a metaphysical one, an actual literal ride.
A ride? Where would you think you'd be going to on this not so metaphysical ride?
Just up to Avondale. Nothing far, nothing dangerous.
And he like sprays his cider. He's like, you say you want to go to Avondale? What would you want to be going to Avondale for?
We're gonna stop the apocalypse.
My friend here means that we're going to. We've got business interests, and it would definitely be in everybody's. A place that desperately needs something will pay a good coin for it.
This is true.
So he basically tells you to go round back, and he says you'll see somebody there, and tell him Alfie said that he's looking for Fennec, and so you go around back, and there's this halfling woman who's there, and she's smoking a pipe, and she's like, "The name's Sinead. What are you doing back here?" And you have to be like, "Alfie sent me, I'm looking for Fennec," and this like daisy chain goes by like several different spots. Like you have to go to like this alley,
the whole town,
like this nook, this
so Maeve told us that Connor told us that Sean told us that Lawrence told
but not
us
Jerry. He's an asshole.
And then,
and so eventually you're walking along, and you hear a whistle, and there's Fennec, and he kind of like head points to like behind a little livery where there's some horses that have been tied up, Shire ponies, right? Like to actually like not be seen behind a Shire pony, you have to like duck, but a halfling doesn't, and of course Elroy doesn't because he's a small Tanuki. Anyway, so you head back behind the Shire ponies, and Fennec is like, "I hear you've been looking for me. What are you looking for?"
We're looking for stealthy passage into Avondale.
And he goes,
guy?
"Oh, that's going to be very hard. I mean, I know
That's why we came to you, because you're the best.
I know I owe you a favor.
You're the best of the best.
I was thinking, you'd want, I don't know, some kind of discount on something, but to get, that's going to be really difficult." And he says, "Okay, I think I know a way. And he describes a plan to you where he says, okay, so I've got this fairy mist. You remember it's sort of a narcotic mist that makes things kind of sleepy, kind of hallucinate, dream a little bit. So he says, you know what we can do? We can take the boat in, and as we get closer to Aventail, we can pour some of that mist into the water so that we're kind of cloaked. You know, the mist will kind of envelop us, and you guys just need to hold some wet scarves or something to your mouths and noses so that you don't breathe any of this in. And any goblins or whatever that might be around will probably just have a sort of a nice, dreamy nap.
And then we murder them.
Well, you could get out and murder them, or you could stay on task.
Right.
Yeah, that's harder than it sounds for this group.
It really is.
Once the walls are all sealed up, you can't get in or out, except, and he tells you, he kind of like looks around before he tells you this, and he says, did you know that a long time ago, before they built Aventail, there used to be a dwarven mine underneath the town? It was a useless mine, and it filled up with water, and nobody ever used it. But it can lead you from the river up into the castle. So if you want, you can take this route. And he says, but I wouldn't recommend doing it without a guide. I've got a man on the inside. Well, not really a man, a myrmidon. You might have met him. Stinky fella. He's the night carter. You might remember his name was Wishwash. You did meet him. Or at least you observed him. And he sometimes uses the underground waterways to cart the night soil out of town. And so he can give you some directions under there.
Now, is there a kind of like code word or something to let him know that you're vouching for us because, you know, you owe these guys so much?
No, but you might have to pay him a little bit. So, you know, be prepared to drop your coin at the River Styx when you do eventually meet up with Wishwash. But there's one wrinkle in this plan. It's very dangerous because underneath these water caves, there's something foul and rotten. And Finnick doesn't know what it is, but he says that him and all the people in his organization, legitimate business practice, right?
Naturally.
They don't use these water caves unless they absolutely have to. You know, they prefer to go in through, you know, some other method, but you can make it through.
So if we were to go down there and get rid of the stinking thing, that would be a huge benefit to you and your business partners, though, wouldn't it?
Well, that depends. If Aventail is completely destroyed, then no.
Well, that won't happen on my sundial, so... Moondial, I guess. How long has the stinky thing been there? Do you know?
Probably longer than Aventail.
Oh, okay, so it's not a newer thing.
Truth.
Some sort of eldritch terror.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to give a pause. You guys can try to get into Aventail via this route, or you can try to go to Watergo. It's up to you.
Let's take the dangerous route.
Yeah, let's do dangerous.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm smelling of danger. Speaking of which,
It's
does
just
this
wet
inn have
fur.
a bath?
Okay.
I wonder how much of that moon mist it would take to take out the whole army.
Yeah.
Wait, can I try to reverse engineer their moon mist?
Ooh.
Doesn't it come from the
fairy
sky?
mist?
Fairy mist, oh yeah.
The fairy mist is produced by the fairies. They're the only ones who know how to do it. And the way this crime syndicate works is they trade stuff to the fairies in in the Ficklewood. The fairies give them fairy mist, which they then bottle and through alchemy cause to turn into a liquid form. And then they in turn bottle that as well. And then they bring in big casks. They bring the mist to Aventail, and then through some contact in Aventail, they bring it back out of Aventail to places where this kind of stuff can be purchased for really good coin. It is one of the reasons why everybody around is actually doing quite well. There's a lot of money that's flowing into Wensleyshire and also into Aventail because this mist is being shipped out.
Rugs are great, guys.
So then, do most people in this town, is that their business?
You mean in Wensleyshire?
Yeah.
No, but I think there's a bit
chunk.
of a nudge, wink, wink that they know what's
Gotcha.
going on.
Okay.
It's like being in Salmon Arm in BC, like in the early 2000s. Like,
Yeah.
could there be some weed being grown around here? I don't know.
What are you
One
talking?
might
Hold on,
find
let
some.
me step past this shrub.
Anyways, so so you want to go with this plan?
Yes.
I'd say we do it.
Okay.
Feeling saucy.
So,
Yeah, it's all the drinking you've been doing.
I had a single half pint.
Pork sauce.
Not that
So-
kind of drinking.
That sounded really bad, actually.
So Finnick has an adventurous side, and the minute you say you're going to do this, he's like, you know what? This is good. Let's do this. All right, I'm up. I'm game. I'm up for it. So he gets into his little punting craft, and you guys get onto it. It's a little wobbly, and he lashes a couple of these little casks, these small firkins onto it. And you
This
can
guy's
hear the
crazier than
liquid
you are.
sloshing around inside. And he's like, okay, so when I give the signal, you bust open these casks and you pour them, one to port and the other to starboard. And so he starts punting you down the Umber River. And it's totally black.
Which one's port? Which one? I'll figure it out.
Whichever direction I go, you go the other way.
Yeah.
That's
nice.
good. That's helpful. I could do that.
And John will make sure that they all have like a wet handkerchief to put over their faces.
Yeah. Now, it is night. As you're punting down the river, you can hear more and more goblins just beating on their drums. And as I've described in the past, this isn't like a steady like orc war drum. This is like a do-ga-do-clack clack, do-ga-do-clack clack clack, do-do-do-clack clack,
Bang, bang, bang.
right? Exactly. And at the same time, without any real harmony or rhythm, they're going like mama, kava, mama, kava, mama, kava, kava, mama, right? And they're all sort of gathering. And as you are punting down the river, you see that they have trolls. There are trolls who are dragging these long carts, sort of very long bedded carts, and the carts have food, the carts have very large rocks, the carts have other things that might come in handy, small lead balls for slings, all kinds of stuff. And the trolls who have been harnessed to these long bedded carts are just lumbering towards the castle walls. And so at a certain point, Finnick is like, okay, now. And you break open the casks and you pour them in on both sides. And this beautiful twinkly mist kind of just comes right out of the water, and it's almost like you can hear a harp. Yeah, you can hear a harp when this thing pours in, and it's like, and as you look around, you can sort of see the shapes of some goblins in the mist being like, and like lying down, or some of them start to just like do an interpretive dance for no reason, right? Like, some of them are waltzing with nothing. They just they seem pretty happy actually. And you come upon this this thick brambly bush that's sort of by the side of the castle, and the water sort of runs past it, but also separates and runs straight into that bush. And it's very, very well concealed. Like you wouldn't even notice this if you were going around the castle walls to try to repair them, because the water is sort of flowing down underneath the wall, and you're not really able to stand up, and the boat can't go there. And so Finnick is like, now's your chance. Head straight down there, head towards the lights, and pray that Wishwash is there. And if he is, give him some good coin and tell him that Finnick sent you. And then he's like, all right, I gotta go.
What if he's
Well,
not?
Yeah, so he punts away as fast as his little arms will take him, and you guys basically have to like water slide down beneath this castle, and you so you head down, and hanging up on a metal stake with a bit of a hook is an alchemical lamp that lights up a dripping grotto, and it is very wet, and it has like a cold dampness. And you look around and you don't see Wishwash, but what you do see is a bunch of like mushrooms growing in the walls, little like just sort of white-capped mushrooms that are growing of various sizes, and they're growing in the walls. And you look around and you see what appear to be dwarven constructions sort of carved straight into the raw stone. And there are sort of pillars, very squarish, blocky pillars holding up this tunnel. But the tunnel is quite low, so you're going to have to duck. And you start exploring. Do you guys want to take a quick pit stop? Just take a break now before we head into
Yeah, it's creepy.
Sure.
phase?
Sounds good.
All right. Well, we'll be back in just a couple minutes. If you want to hang out, don't forget you can always say hey in the chats, and we'll see everybody in a little bit. Be right back. Be right back. There's a good chance for me to mention that a lot of our music is Sirenscape, so shout out to them. But also Creative Commons music, and all of it is attributed in the live stream on the video. So we've got a scroll and credits at the end. All right, and we are coming back. Welcome back. Thank you for the short break. And oh, don't forget, later on today we do have to pick an episode name. I forgot to do that last time, so I just picked a name. Sorry, you don't want my choice.
Was it
you want...
Dry Pole?
No, that was the one before. Last
Okay.
time was Revelations, because we found out about Mr. Bitey Neck Guy.
Yeah.
It was
I
yeah.
think Mr. Bitey Neck Guy would actually be more in
Ooh,
keeping.
I
with
can
some of our other
retroactively change
titles.
that. So
Yeah.
episode 3 is now going to be called Mr. Bitey Neck.
Mr. Bitey
Bitey
Neck
neck guy. Well, it's
Ideally,
funny
it's
because
in
there's
like a
actually two Bitey Neck
1950s
guys.
bebop, shubop shawapcha song.
Okay,
Anyway,
Let's do
here
this
we are.
thing. Let's get killed.
you start heading down into this tunnel, and some of you, I believe, have dungeoneering kits or adventuring kits, so you should have
I do.
torches.
I can see in the dark, I think.
I have a warrior kit, but it does have a torch, so I will pull that out and light it up.
Yeah,
As
I've got
you go
a
farther
tinderbox.
from that lamp, there's definitely the smell of night soil, but you don't see the Myrmidon Wishwash anywhere. Seem to be there.
Hello.
And this tunnel seems to be leading down, down, down. There are some branches, and you sort of branch off, and you look, but they just run straight into water. Like basically, they run off at an angle, and then the rest of the tunnel is submerged. So you double back, you try and stay within the air, and you notice as you wave the torch back and forth around this tunnel that there's more and more mushroom growth on the walls. The mushrooms, some of them are big, like big as watermelons, these caps, and they're of unusual shapes and colors as well. Typically the mushrooms you would see
MOUSs. Mushrooms of unusual size.
Instead of mouses.
Typically you would see mushrooms with a very circular cap, but many of these have that kind of moral looking wrinkle to them. Some of them even have like a star shape or an umbrella shape exterior.
I think
I
that
have
one's
always
rich.
hated mushrooms.
Some
That
of them
one's rich for her pleasure.
They're multicolored, and they're growing down out of the ceiling, they're growing up out of the floor, they're growing up out of the walls, and you find yourself stepping on and around them, and they're spongy, they're rubbery, and some of them are quite tough.
I'm gonna put my my damp handkerchief back over my mouth in case there's like spores coming into this shit.
Not a bad idea.
Elroy, you gonna do the same?
I'll be the canary.
Canary in the mine.
Well, you are the smallest and weakest of us, so if you die, we'll know to turn back.
Yeah, that's true.
You duck.
Oh
So
no!
encouraging.
You duck down under sort of a low ceiling point, and when you stand up on the other side, you realize, oh, you can actually stand up at a comfortable height, and you realize that there's this great big dome, and there's a crack in the dome. If you hold up the torch, you can see all the way to the top, and there's a crack, and the water is kind of dribbling along the ceiling. You know, when a small amount of water is dribbling, it kind of does like a snake pattern on the wall, and the snake pattern has obviously been there for a long time because you can see a lot of sediment. You can even see some stalactites and stalagmites kind of reaching down and then reaching back up again to touch, almost touching. And of course, there's just a profusion of mushrooms growing out of that area where there's dampness and all along the floor. And you suddenly notice that you can hear like a breathing sound. It's almost just like a low heaving. And looking around the room, you see that this enclosure, which is dome shaped, it's really only a half dome because it's blocked off. But actually, it's not blocked off. There's just a pile of mushroom mass, and that pile actually seems to have a bit of a shape. It's almost a little bit animal shaped, almost like a big crocodile. Only it's completely composed of these mushrooms, and it has a long tail, and it doesn't appear to have any facial features other than these dark purple mushrooms that are spotted and speckled all along the top, and underneath it seems to be just this very sickly white color. And also beneath it has just this beard of mycelium threads, you know, the actual living organism of mushroom matter, which is just, you know, this thread that snakes all the way through the soil. It seems to be just hanging off of it like cobwebs or a beard. And this thing seems to be sort of shifting a little bit. roll intelligence to see whether you know what this thing is. And because John
Ooh,
Normalman is a fighter, he can roll with advantage.
9.
I rolled 2 1s. So that's good to get out of the way. That's a 4.
I also
Oh, no.
crit failed.
For the 9, I'm going to say that La Habrea knows that this is a fungasaur.
Fungasaur.
And a fungasaur, which appears in the monster manual, a fungasaur is, legend has it, the product of an evil war between the woodwoses and the elves. Now, whether it was the wood elves or the dark elves, matter of some historical debate, but when the elves massacred woodwoses and dumped them into a mass grave, you'll recall woodwoses are a sort of a fey creature that is very tree-like. When they dumped them into a mass grave and cursed them, fungasaurs began to emerge from that rotting mass grave of fey creatures. And that's where the first fungasaurs came about.
I'm
but
super
many of them-
bummed out that you said that.
Sorry.
She's in a balcony, and I'm like, oh, it's a...
I'm
fine.
sorry.
Hi.
All good.
Hi.
Sure.
Howdy.
My pants
I
are
like the
falling
Nick
down, so bad,
Cage.
yeah.
I like the Nick Cage shirt.
I enjoy your sweater, my love.
Thank you.
I accidentally spoiled the movie that they are watching.
Not
So, you know this is a fungasaur. You know they're very dangerous. You know that they emit spores
great. Ooh.
that, if inhaled, could be a very significant problem for non-vampires. Vampires aren't affected by the spore cloud because you're not
Oh,
really breathing.
come on.
Yes. Finally, it pays off.
Yeah, but you might have lungs that eventually fill with mushrooms because you're not doing anything with them. And then one day you'll be like, anyway, just mushrooms.
And that's where tuberculosis came from.
So, the fungasaur hasn't noticed you yet, but if you're going to want to get to the other side of this chamber, you're going to need to like move its tail or something like that. So decide what you want to do. You can turn back. You can try to, like, I don't know, find some way to trick it. You guys will all start with your EP if you're going to if you're going to attack it. But it's up to you. The fungasaur seems to be in a kind of a dormant state, almost like it's just feeding off the festering of you know, the stuff that's down here.
So we need to move its tail in order to get past.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, to the other side of the room, frankly.
Do we have
Okay.
any, like, rope?
I might.
I think that more than I think that most of you have rope in your kits. Although I think La Habrea has like a scholar's kit or something.
Yes,
so
I don't think I
might
do.
like,
Hmm.
I have a
right,
traveler's kit.
Yeah, my thinking is like put some rope around one of the stalactites or stalagmites that is the opposite direction that we want to be in. Then we all give it a mighty tug. It'll make a big noise. It'll fall down. The thing will move toward that noise, and then we can ski-daddle through the hole before it's none the wiser.
Before we do that, from what I would know, are they intelligent in any way? Or are they like animals, essentially?
They're not animals. They're classified. They're different classes of monsters, and they're classified under weird.
Weird.
So
Okay.
you don't really know what they are
Okay.
thinking. They're the product of some significant historical misadventure, and
Yeah.
you don't know if they particularly hate elves. Like, that's also a possibility.
Yeah.
Well, thank
But they
goodness
are you.
there's no elves around here. Just a couple of you. Oh. What else?
Ooh,
Right.
Okay, so
Um,
new plan. La Brea makes the distraction because he can't be hurt by the spores.
Yeah. I still like the stalactite idea.
Or stalagmite.
Yeah, either one. One of the ones that hang down, perhaps.
Or point up.
Yeah, it's
Stalactites hang down, stalagmites go up.
Yeah,
so
they
what's the
hold
ones
on
that
tight.
hang from the side? So I will.
Hang from the side.
Yes, it's
Those
side.
are just teeth.
Wait a minute. We're inside this thing. Oh no.
Yeah, so I'll try to. Well, yeah, let's rope up a hanging down bit of
Okay.
rock and see if we can
So-
pry it loose.
Okay. That seems like a reasonable idea to me. Give me a stealth check to show me that you're going to be able to do this without
Okay.
causing a huge racket.
Ooh,
John is gonna stay behind while the two sneaky ones go and do all the tying up.
Did you
Nine.
declare that before you rolled, or
I did.
after?
I did not. Yeah, I haven't rolled anything.
Well, you got a 0 or 9?
I
Okay,
got
so-
a 7. I only rolled a 2.
Ooh, dang, you're right.
Oh wait, it's
Mahavira
Dex
is
or
able-
Int? The lower of
Whichever's
the two?
lower.
the lower
Okay.
of.
So then it's only a 6.
What?
So you're able to stealthily navigate around this chamber. Rope up what appears to be a very fragile looking limestone stalactite. You're going to give it a pull and it's going to fall. Give me a strength check.
Okay. Both of us or just myself?
I crit,
whoever-
so 11.
Okay, so Normalman is basically like, I'll handle this. Pulls on the rope with like one arm, and the thing kind of breaks, crumbles, and falls and hits the floor, shatters, lots of debris, sort of like limestone dust, and you see the fungosaur raise up its head, and you can see for the first time this mouth is this very wide mouth. It's not like a dragon that has sort of like a longish snout. The fungosaur has more of like a very wide mouth, and it opens it up, and inside that wide mouth are what appear to be more mushrooms, but the mushrooms are spikes, like they're just sharp mushrooms that are just growing up out of its jaw, and it opens it up and it kind of like grins at this noise, and as it's sweeping over, you can see all of its sort of dangling threads that are hanging down, the mycelium threads, and it's sort of casts around, and its body starts to shift, and you can hear all this sort of scraping against the floor and mushrooms being kind of like plucked from wherever they were, and it stands up and it starts to move, but it's still in the way of the door. It's going to spot you pretty soon, so if you want to try to like get around it, you can try to roll stealth, but there's a chance that you will get spotted. So everybody roll stealth.
Alright, I'm stealthing it up. 9.
8.
0.
Come on,
Norman rolled a 3.
Oh no.
All right, so it spots you, and immediately you can hear. It's not like a roar that comes from vocal cords. It sounds more like this gross boiling sound inside it. Like it's a very like liquid, like just air being forced through liquid. Like it's, and it sort of moves its body over towards you so that it's facing you, and it emits this roar, which is just air being forced through these various mushroom-shaped sharp teeth, and it attacks. Since you did still kind of have the drop on it, I'm going to give you first round, and you also have your EP. So PCs go. And tell me turn order.
I think Leroy or Elroy should go last. In case we need a heal.
Yeah.
I think it's good for me to start because I can mesmerize or charm. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So we said we do have our EP for this first round?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to try to mesmerize it. It probably won't take care of all of its actions, but we'll see. So that is a 8 versus Will.
I rolled Will 8, but
Oh, dang.
the Funga-saur is immune to stench, psionic, fear, telekinesis, charm, and mesmerize.
Interesting. So do I feel something as it's like not working, or is it just doesn't work?
You feel like you feel like it's not working.
I feel like a failure.
No, but I mean like versus
I know this
like,
feeling.
like someone's better at it versus it can't even, it doesn't even do anything.
You detect that like it's almost as if you're reaching out and there's just no mind.
Okay.
Like it's
next
the
time.
same thing. It's the same thing as if you were to try to like mesmerize like or charm a skeleton. Like there's just there's nothing there. Like
right. Well, that was my turn.
Okay. I'm gonna drop the torch and rush it with my brass knuckles and try to punch it in its little cap area.
Oh, right in the cap.
That's 3.
Oh, that's the worst place to get hit.
So it's crit and a crit and 10.
10 is a hit.
Okay. So got too many things. So 14, 18. Oh, max damage. 22 damage.
Okay,
Damn.
nice start. Just goosh in the face.
I love you. What? I said I love you, too.
Then
All good.
So this is a hot chocolate made with foamed milk from our espresso machine.
Nice.
Nice.
Fancy.
And
All right.
I do want to shout out the mug. That's a nice mug. Devin's drinking
Vampire
from a
blood.
mug that says vampire blood.
Sorry, Bo. So
We
that's
got
Normalman's
plans.
turn. Elroy, what are you gonna do?
Oh, 22 points. Did it look like that hurt the thing, or is it just kind of laughing?
It hurts, but
Yeah, I totally ruptured a few bulbous caps.
yeah, but it's not bloody.
I'm gonna furiously Google like mushroom parts for description. This is what AI is for. All right. I'm going to. You know what? Let's go for it. I'm gonna bust out the blunderbuss, and I'm gonna scurry as close to I can. Try to get to where we're going. If I can, while it's tied up, get a little distance and scoot by. And if I have time, I'll turn around and shoot at the thing once I get to kind of the exit.
You definitely shoot it no matter what. Like, don't not shoot it. Just
Yeah. But I want to get where I'm going first.
I don't care. Shoot it.
Shoot!
That's a crit. So
Nice.
that's going to be a lot to hit, and that's going to be 15 plus a d8. So
But because
max
it's a crit, you get,
damage.
Okay.
So that's
So
23 points of damage. Do I get any extra dice on a crit, or is that just it?
No,
It's just
and in
it's
fact,
automatic, right?
Yeah, because firearms are basically treated as a spell. There's no sort of crit. It's you're still rolling versus you're not rolling versus defense. You're rolling against its dex. But I assume that if you crit, and I rolled a 1, so you definitely would have hit. So, anyways,
You mean
I've
the giant
recorded.
mushroom monster can't beat an 11 dex?
Come on.
I do want to point out my son's toy is right here, so I get to
That's
I get to
cool.
reenact this. Except it would be a very loud boom.
That's a nice Nerf gun. Yeah, especially in this enclosure, like it'd be like because you're in a dome. So yeah, so you've definitely gotten its attention, and it is pissed. It might be that it has not been disturbed like this in like 50 years. It's just been content to sort of like feed off the rot and detritus of anything that sort of washed down into this place, be it, animal or, a person or whatever. But it's pissed. So the first thing it's going to try and do is bite, and it's going to try to bite Normalman, and it critted, and so it's going to do 29 damage. You went boosh, boosh in its face, so it just went crunch, and it chomped on you. I have to roll a d4 for this next thing to see. The spore cloud is having a little bit of difficulty getting going. It releases spores and it goes poof. But the spores mostly dissipate in the air before reaching La Habrea. La Habrea would have to roll con 8 or suffer hallucinations, but because he is a vampire, he doesn't have to. And then the last thing it's going to do is it's going to tail swipe. So I need to see a dex roll of 8 from each of Elroy and La Habrea.
Whoa. All right.
So it's basically like with its tail.
7.
I got 8.
La Habrea is going to take 17 damage.
Holy crap. All right.
Thing's big.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can it fit through the hole we're trying to get to?
No, it can't.
Oh, thank God.
Is it still in our way?
Yes, it is. You can figure out how you want to deal with that. It is top of the round, La Habrea.
All right, we'll see if I get EP. Not that I can. Did I get EP?
Oh, it is organic if you want to try to bite it.
Yeah, I might
drink some mushroom blood.
Yeah, maybe not this. Maybe not
mushroom
this turn.
juice.
But, next turn for sure.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure that you do eat some mushroom.
I think it's important. It's very important. Part of a balanced vampire diet. So that is a crit and a 9
vegetarian vampires.
Both are hits.
Excellent. So that is 12 plus. Why can't I never find my dang d8s? Curse me kills. What? Come on. 18 damage. Total. For two attacks.
Okay. That brings us to Normalman.
I am chugging a healing potion.
Smart.
That is barely anything. And I have my EP again, so I'm going to up my hit and defense and give it 2 more solid punches with a 12 and a 11 to hit.
Both hits.
And that is 21 damage.
20% there, guys. Flip and do this.
You dealt 84 damage to this thing, so
Whoa,
so
that's not bad.
that's a lot.
Considering it's just the
Elroy.
3 of us, that ain't bad.
Yeah.
Your healing abilities with this particular team somewhat lacking.
I'll
Where's the
heal
Yeah.
eventually.
Okay.
Not this round, though.
No. Oh, sorry, is it my turn?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did not get EP, so I
See,
will not be
come on.
healing you this time. I can't
Throw
shoot.
a rock at it.
I can't shoot my gun.
Chopper.
Okay, I'll throw my rock at it, and I'm gonna sling it. Just trying to clobber it with a sling. It's the other end of the blunderbuss. So on one end, like the kind of Y shape of the slingshot is actually the shoulder brace, and I just flip it over and like get a stone off the ground and that's gonna be 10 to hit
That's a hit.
and 4 damage. Slightly less than last time.
Good job.
And I'm gonna scoot my way a little bit further back down the tunnel. Be like,
Guy, you should come down this way.
We're gonna die.
So, Elroy is no longer within striking range of the
Ooh.
front
That was an
door
option?
because he's in the small tunnel. What's that?
That was an option?
Yeah, I told you had to duck to get into this thing.
Oh.
Which
I have
means
hard
that
times.
the Funga-saurous is attacking Normalman with a 11 to hit.
That's a hit.
And that's the bite attack again.
Hmm.
That's 29 damage.
I'm down.
So just crunch.
Okay.
The spore cloud again is only sufficient to pump out enough to target La Habrea, who's still in the room, and so La Habrea doesn't have to roll that. But La Habrea does have to roll for the tail swipe. Dex 8.
8. That is not a dodge.
So you are going to take 20 damage.
oof. You're down.
Oh
So
boy.
it basically catches you and just wings you into the wall. And then it's
are you
going to
up
come
still?
in for the
Yeah, I'm
kill.
up.
Okay.
Okay, so as it's coming in for the kill, it moves its whole body, and so there is actually a clear path to get to the sort of the opening on the other side. So if you could like Sub-Zero slide, you could like get through it. But of course, Normalman has been bitten twice and is now down. So you're gonna have to do something.
I'm
but
replaceable.
That
What?
brings us to
No.
the top of the round. No,
You-
you're the only one who's like immune to prophecy. Very important for the storyline.
Seriously.
La Habrea, you're up.
I do have some potions left, so could I revive him or bring him back to at least above 0?
Well, yes, anybody can resuscitate. He hasn't been hard dropped.
Right,
although
okay.
I think that getting chewed on by a fungus would be pretty
Probably
hard.
not
But yeah, you could basically like do like a swift like roll on the ground to get to him and be like come on, man, come on.
Okay. Would that count as a full action?
If you're going to both resuscitate and douse him with a potion, then yes,
Okay, I'll do
that
that.
is your full action.
Yeah, I'll do that. So I'll use up one of my potions. I think it was 2d6 plus 4. for these guys?
2d4 plus 4.
Yeah,
I got the
I
second.
mean, yes, it is 2d6 plus 4.
No, I got the second one up. I think the 2d6.
yeah. There's a 2d4 plus 4, and then there's a 2d6 plus 6.
Yeah, I got the slightly nicer one.
Ah, thank you.
So 15. And that is my turn. Up and at him.
Do I also get my will back?
Yes, you do. You get your will.
Will to survive.
What? Huh? Shit.
But that is your turn. Like you spend the turn like basically
Yeah.
like getting back up again. Elroy, what are you gonna do?
What's the opposite of EP?
Physical education?
Throw a stick.
Yeah, I didn't get AP, so the best I can do is scramble for the exit hole, and I'm gonna shout at this thing and see if I can get its attention because I haven't been hit yet. I don't think. So I'm gonna taunt it.
Roll a d6 for your taunt luck.
And role play that shit some. You're gonna taunt a mushroom dinosaur? What do you
Your
say?
mother was an elderberry, and your father smelled of grapefruit.
Probably.
I got a
Taunt
6.
mushroom.
Okay, hey, that's a crit on your taunt. So I'm gonna say that you can use that and spend your entire action to just run. Like just
And
run
I'm doing
from
like
one
jumping.
side of the room to the other. Yeah.
Very Mario
Exactly.
with the raccoon suit.
Yes. You can do a little spin with the tail too. Just like in
nice.
midair, just spin around while you're cussing him out.
As it should be. Let's be honest.
Are you
Wait.
running away from the exit?
No, I'm going towards
No,
the
he's-
exit,
Okay.
He's trying to get to the exit.
but I'm also trying to distract
basically-
as we go.
So the
Oh wait,
Funga-saurus
I'm
can
gonna
target-
try to bring it away. Like, I'm not gonna beeline straight for the exit. I'm gonna like take a meandering route, trying to get it to look the opposite side, and then like scoot under it, and just generally be a target, and then at the very end bolt for the exit.
Okay. And because you have done such a great job in getting its attention, the Fungasaur is going to target you with its bite attack.
Yay,
we'll see how
me.
that goes. So here we go. You are jumping, spinning in the air, and you're going to make it to safety, and the Fungasaur is going to try to bite you as you are just spinning through its lair, cussing it out, talking about sauteed mushrooms, and it crits.
You would taste great with a steak.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry.
Good night.
Tip your waitress.
Do you have 100 HP or you?
Sorry, like I rolled max damage on this whole thing. You're getting 37 damage.
I'm down.
Oh, it just snaps you in
I'm
the
so
air.
weak.
Just
So
snaps
weak.
you in the
man.
air. You're down. Spore Cloud, let's see how many. Oh, okay. Normalman, you have to roll Con 8 or you're going to be hallucinating.
Oh man.
I mean, there are worse ways to go.
8.
Oh, you're okay. Things are looking like the colors, like it's a little bit like Technicolor Dreamcoat right now. You're kind of like, oh, but you're still focused enough to like stay on
I got the
mission.
mask on. I'm good.
Yes, 'cause you're a fighter, right? You're a fighter. And La Habrea doesn't have to roll that, but La Habrea does have to roll for the tail swipe as this thing is spinning around, trying to bite, successfully bite, I should add, Elroy. And so roll a Dex 8.
Ha! I got it finally.
Okay, so you like duck when you were supposed to duck, instead of jumping when you were supposed to duck.
Up, down,
Okay.
left, right.
Okay,
Maybe,
so
maybe.
so now La Habrea and Normalman are up. The passage through is clear, but Elroy is down. What are you gonna
I'm
do?
very small. You should be able to drag me.
Could we grab him?
You know what? Between the two of you, I think yes. I think you
Right.
could probably run and grab him, and then with a little. You know what? I wouldn't even ask for a strength check. I think you could
Okay.
probably make it.
Yeah, I got a strength of 4. You got a. What's your strength, by the way, John?
5.
5. Yeah, we can look at this.
Okay,
I
You
say
can
we
play
both-
catch with me.
Yeah.
I say we get out of here.
Out of curiosity, are there like stalactites in this room?
Yeah.
And how low is the ceiling?
Well, it's very high up in the middle.
Okay, then never mind.
The top.
You gonna
and then
punch a ceiling?
comes
No, I
down.
was hoping I was gonna like jump on its back and like punch it in the back of the head until it rears up to get rid of me and impales itself on a stalactite.
Oh,
but-
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
That was
but
pretty cool.
it's not gonna work. It's,
You wanna-
the room's too
Do you
big.
want to try that, or do you want to run?
Well, the room is too big. I'm gonna run.
Okay. One last time, before you escape, I want everybody to roll Con 8 to resist the hallucinations.
Me too.
And I'll
I could
see
be
what
tripping
the-
balls while I'm
even
sleeping.
Elroy,
9.
even La Habrea.
Oh, crit fail.
Con 9. Hold on one sec. What was that, Melon?
As Elroy gasps awake again, you've lost a lot of blood. You've just been bitten by this thing. Its jaw is like significantly larger than your body, and so you've got a lot of broken ribs. You got a lot of lost blood. But
In the meantime,
as you
I'm tripping now.
as you
Getting a good line for it.
as you guys are running towards this exit, you just see this tongue loll out from the exit, and the tongue sort of bends to form like a staircase, and then like a bunch of different foods start like dancing the can as they're coming out of the exit, and they're coming down the stairs, and it's just like, hello my baby.
This is
hello,
way
my
better
baby."
than Moon Mist or Fairy
Not,
Mist.
not like this.
No kidding.
Not like
And-
this.
This is all the stuff that you've eaten. Basically, when you were in the wizard tower, you see them all dancing, and they all have like a tooth for a top hat, and they're like lifting it off their head over and over again, and like kicking with like legs that have nylons on for some reason, even though nylons haven't been invented in this timeline. The whole thing is just, of course, in real life, what you're doing is you're throwing up all that stuff. And La Habrea and Normalman are having to put up with this, but you do make it to the other side, and you sort of like plunge through the small opening, and you can hear the Funga-saurous just raging inside the room and sort of bashing its snout against the small opening and clacking its strange teeth together, trying to get at you. And you come over onto the other side, and you're totally wounded. You're really in bad shape. And you see Wishwash, the Myrmidon, and he's standing there, and he's got his brass breathing apparatus on, and he's got his like big like dinner plate eyes, and he's kind of staring at you. He's a fish, right? Myrmidon, sort of they fish that walk upright, and he's looking at you, and he's holding this little pole, and behind him he's got his cart with all the the night soil in it, and he's looking at you, and he's like, why did you go in there? You could have just swam under the water over there and avoided the fungus. Why did you do that?
You know,
God, to be kidding me.
we don't swim.
Even a little bit? I mean, I know that non-Myrmidons don't like swimming as much as we do, but really, okay, come with me.
Die,
He
die.
feeds you, and he waves any fee because he's like, my goodness, what have you done? And he leads you back out, and there's a grate, like a sewer grate, that kind of opens up. It's like on rusty hinges, and it kind of like squeaks open, and you come out, and it's nighttime, but there are people huddled in all the cobblestone streets and squares. Many of them are using like their wagons or even overturned wheelbarrows just to get a little bit of shelter. And their families, they're holding their children tight. Everybody is very clearly trying to get as far away from the wall as they can, and they're all kind of huddling inside this city. And and so Wishwash kind of bids you good luck and adieu, and he kind of like closes the grate again and goes back down into the watery areas, and there you are. You found your way back to Aventale. So, you have options now. You can do a little bit of shopping. As I recall, you guys each got 50 gold in the last. Or wait, did you?
I
No, we
spent
spent
all
that
mine.
last time.
Wait,
Yeah, I spent
am I
40
dead
mine.
still, or did somebody get me up?
Yeah, I'm gonna slap
No.
Elroy back awake.
Yeah.
Whipping
If
out
you
my
want to go
tail.
stay at the inn, you can do that.
That may be a good idea.
I've seen things, you guys. I've seen a lot of things.
What'd you see?
No man should know a cucumber. And a
I'm gonna open up
slices
the
of
bindle
mutton like
full of the
that.
food that we got from
Oh God!
the wizard's
I
place.
scurry across. I like run across the other side of the inn. Just, I'm now very food averse. It's plain oatmeal for me. It's like PB&J.
Okay.
That's all I get.
So the inn is quite crowded. So it's going to cost you 10 gold for a room for the night. There's a lot of people who are trying to crowd into the inn because as I said before, the population of Aventail is fluctuating with the seasons and with work cycles because there are a lot of people who come to Aventail to trade, to bring their goods into market and so forth. And so a lot of these people who might live in cottages or homesteads or even in one of the neighboring areas like Wensleyshire or Grundal, they are now trying to sort of shelter in Aventail. So it's pretty crowded on the streets and in the inn. So if you want to fully restore your health, you can stay at the inn for 10 gold, or you can just go outside and you can just take a long rest on the streets.
Is it 10 each or
No, 10 total.
okay?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll chip
In
in.
fact,
I think
you
it's
know
worth
what?
it.
To,
I
to,
think
to
so
make,
too,
to
yeah.
make the math easier, I'll say 9 so that
I'm
each of you
small.
pays
I'll
3.
pay less.
What?
I don't take up
But
as
your
much
heart
room.
is.
My guy's like a bit bigger than your average raccoon now. Like only a bit.
Okay. That's pretty small then.
So
I'm
Normalman
basically
gets
the
the
size
bed.
of a large pillow.
Normalman gets the bed, and then Elroy sleeps at the foot of the bed, and
Yep.
La Habrea sleeps in the closet.
Yep. I just hang
Hanging
out.
upside down, of course.
Yeah. Okay, so
That was.
you
I
spend
don't
the
want
night.
to go back in the
I'll
cave,
be
guys.
right back.
Please tell me we
Sure.
don't have to go back in the cave.
So the mood here in town is not the same as the mood in Wensleyshire. People here are frightened, they're stressed out, they're talking about things like food stores, like the well. They're thinking about how long they would be able to hold out in the event of a siege. Some people are being very cocky and confident. They're saying things like, "Oh, they're goblins. They're going to lose interest in a week. Oh, they're goblins. They're not going to be able to organize. Like they don't have any supplies. Like they're just going to get hungry and start eating each other. Like they're goblins. Like they're going to run out of supplies. They don't have any understanding of like siege technology. They're goblins." Like there's a lot of people who are very vocally and confidently denouncing the threat. And then there are other people who are like, "I don't know." And then there's a bunch of old timers who are like, "In all my years, I've never seen anything like this. I never thought I would. This is Southumbria." And, anyways.
Mhm.
And so I want to open it up again. If you guys want to do any shopping, you can head to the shops. And in particular, I'll give you this tip for free. Aristocles, the smith, is going to be selling weaponry for he's going to be selling things that he wouldn't normally sell because this is a time of significant urgency.
Could be helpful to check that out. Don't have much in the way of cash, but a coin rather.
Yeah, I spent a lot of mine on my blunderbuss.
Yeah, I spend most of mine on the potions.
Let's go check it out anyway, though.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what we got.
Sorry, I'm back.
No problem. So you head over to the smithy, which, as you recall, is an open-air smithy, and Aristocles, who is the Minotaur smith there, who has all of his wares right up on the wall on brackets. You can see actually that a lot of swords and daggers and hammers and maces and mundane equipment has been purchased. His inventory has been largely cleared out, but he has some choice pieces that he may be willing to share, or rather to sell. I will tell you what they are.
Were we able to buy more potions, or is that next?
You can definitely visit Devlinster next if you
Okay.
want to try and buy some more potions and things from your friend, the Deep Gnome. Aristocles is selling a series of magical items, including a sword of smiting, a hunter's axe, a mace of disruption, a weird dagger, a hammer of sabotage. I just
Ooh.
love the sound of that thing.
That sounds nice.
A slayer's sword and an assassin's dagger.
How much is what does he want for the mace of disruption?
It's 100 gold for any one of these pieces.
Ooh. Crikey.
So the sword of smiting gives you an extra d6 against demonic foes. It is a sword, and just to make things a little bit more accessible to the players, we can say that is either a long sword or a short sword, or you know what, even a rapier. That gives you a +6 versus demonic. We'll call it the rapier
Wow.
of smiting. A hunter's axe can be either a hand axe or a great axe. That is a d6 versus beasts. Hot tip: goblins are beasts. The mace of disruption gives you a d6, an extra d6 versus the undead.
I don't have 100 gold, so
The weird
I would
dagger
pool.
gives you an extra d6 versus weird things like, I don't know, Funga-saurous. The hammer
That
of
would have been
sabotage.
handy. Things I wish I'd known about an hour ago.
what does the hammer of sabotage do?
It just gives you an extra d6 versus constructs, so
Ah.
catapults, things like that. The Slayer's sword, and I would really like for this to be a great sword, but you know, I can be persuaded. That is against any draconic foes, so anything that
Okay.
would fall into the draconic category.
Like
This would include
kobolds.
things like wyverns, and kobolds. And the Assassin's Dagger gives you an extra d6, and it's versus playable races.
Whoa.
Yeah, do you like that?
You
All
guys.
right, all
are,
right.
You gotta watch
So
your
if
back.
you want to
now.
fight, say, like, well, trolls are playable races.
That's true.
Right.
There's a lot of playable
So-
races, actually.
Yeah.
Like 20, 25?
Yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
a huge system. A
Yeah.
custom system, I might add. So if anybody wants to hear more about it, just hit up SideQuestsLive on Instagram, and I will, I don't know, do something.
We're on Instagram?
I have an
What?
Instagram. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so if I guess you guys don't have 100 gold, so do you want to just hit up the
I
potion
would
store?
give someone 17 gold if that helps.
I want to buy more potions,
Yeah.
so my gold's going toward that.
How much are potions usually?
10 each.
I should probably buy a potion because I don't always get E EP.
I'm just checking. I believe that I posted all of the prices and
You did.
equipment in the thread. So of course at the smithy you can buy all the sort of mundane equipment that you could want, including armors and so forth. The alchemist shop, which is run by that nice little deep gnome.
Deep gnome.
I just sent it to the group.
Oh, perfect.
Cool.
Perfect. Okay. So consider if you want any of those things. The occult shop is a place where you can buy cantrips and wands. None of you are big spellcasters, so I don't think you
No.
need to go and visit Yogi. Yogi is Zolfian. And of course, you can always go and pay a visit to Friar Elijah at the Basilica of Saint Winifred to pick up stuff like holy water, holy symbol, wooden stake. You know.
I think we should go there and inform him that there is a demonic power who is trying to convince the Countess to chop down the wood. Because either he is the one,
in which case we kill his ass,
or he's on our side.
Yeah.
So the last time you spoke with the Contessa, the people who were advising her were Commander Amara, Friar Elijah, and Yasmina Al-Kindi, the merchant from Bologna.
I feel like it's him.
Yeah, same.
I trust your instincts.
He seems
Let's just go murder him.
Maybe not your culinary tastes, but
I still feel like we should go inform him, because either it is him, and we can fight him, or it isn't him and we can get a bunch of holy water for free.
I'm going to assume I'm walking around with 1 hit point.
Oh no! You guys all went to the inn.
Sorry, I didn't realize we had slept, and then I'm picturing a bedraggled,
and
just a wrecked raccoon, like the kind you call 3114 in your back lane. You're like, you need to come pick this. Oh God, it moved.
It's not dead per se.
I need to have the inn music from one of the Final Fantasy games. You know, you stay at the inn. Yeah, exactly.
I don't actually have that, but I do have tavern music.
That's okay. Okay, so is that the plan now? Are you going to go to see Devlinster, or are you going to go to the Basilica?
Just a quick question. Where would one at some point acquire mage armor? Who would you go to?
That is a good question, but for the vampire, mage armor is it's a skill rather than right. Like it's an upgrade that you get at a certain level.
So I develop it for myself, and then instead of like purchasing it from a mage's guild or whatever.
Yeah,
I grew it myself, knitted from the chest hair of my victims.
Well,
I said we definitely go get our potions first.
Okay, so you head over to Devlinster's shop, and it's packed. There are people who are like trying to basically almost like a bar, sort of at last call. People are sort of crowding around trying to get whatever they can, and Devlinster has set aside enough, but he's kind of rationing. So it's 2 bottles per person. So you got to pick what you want. If you want softs or elixirs or periops of health or potions, it's up to you.
I am buying 2 potions.
I will buy.
Sorry, potions are 10. Potions are 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do not have enough.
How much do you need?
3.
I have 7. You can
have. Clink.
Oh, never mind.
So brings it back to 3 potions then. Cool, thank you.
I'm going to grab just the
so.
Revivify one, the one that's like revitalizing.
Sort of brings you back if you're dropped.
Yeah.
Do I need to give you the price on that?
It's 10, right?
Posted it on the
Elixir is 25.
Oh, never mind.
Wow.
I'll just get a regular healer.
Okay.
I only have 10. Oh, what's the what do you get from that? 2D.
That's 2d6 plus 6.
Hey, that's not bad. That would be a significant portion of my tiny hit point pool.
It could be. Depends if you roll decently. Okay. So, do you want to do any more shopping? Do you want to ask around? Or do you want to head up into the keep and see if you can gain an audience with Contessa Vincenza.
We should probably find out if anyone new is talking to the Countess, just so we know, like, if there's someone other than those three.
Also,
Yeah,
if
like,
I see an overconfident, like, cocky, like, splashing their money around kind of person, I'm gonna try to rob somebody.
Not a bad idea.
A quick reminder, I am not a rogue.
Mm.
But I
So,
You're just greedy.
so you head up into the keep, and you can see that all the doors are like locked and barred, and there's one guard at each door. And a lot of the pomp and ceremony has been just cast aside, and the nice stained glass windows and everything, like, things are being boarded up, things are being moved out of storage, things are being put away, and like banquet tables are being just cleared off to form a bit of a command center. And when you go up, Amara is there, and she sort of like acknowledges you grudgingly,
Hey,
but she's
it's your
very
girlfriend.
pressed.
Huh?
Like, yeah, like she sees you.
I said that far
but
too loudly, by the way.
You can see she's actually transcribed what she saw drawn in the dirt onto a canvas, and has laid it out on the table. And there are a number of knights, like silver-haired knights, standing around, like waiting to be called on by her as she kind of walks around and makes some decisions as to where, how they're going to defend the walls, whether there should be a sortie.
How close is her memory map to what I drew from my observation with the telescope?
Very close.
Okay.
I was going to say, if you're about to correct her, hoping she'll notice you, that is not...
No,
That is not the way to a woman's heart.
I was going to
learned
say
the hard way.
that if there was any great differences, I was going to write it on a note and then like fold it up and like put it where she will find it later.
Let me just
then
normal mansplain here.
That could also be an alternate title to the episode, but okay. So you see all this, and you head up pretty unimpeded because you're recognized, and Amara hasn't made any move to stop you. You head up fairly unimpeded to the sort of the dining area that has like some sofas and some chaiselongs and things
All day long.
That's right, on the chaise-longue all day long, where Contessa Vincenza is, and she is clearly in a bit of a state. She has people fanning her, even though it's pretty cold, and she's sort of like stress eating, right? Like there are like little bits of like cookies and crumbly cakes and quiches and just all manner of confectionery, and it's also like crumbling around her, and she's sitting there in her cushioned throne, and she's very concerned. And Friar Elijah and Yasmin Al-Kindi are both there, and they both seem to be trying to calm her down. They're like the king will surely send reinforcements. Like, you needn't worry so hard. Contessa, you think about your health. You should drink some water. You're not sleeping well. Contessa, you really need to calm down. Commander Amara is making all the preparations. You should really speak
Can
to
I
people.
interrupt the person who's saying that?
Okay. Can you? Yeah, sure. It's Yasmin Al-Kindi who's saying this.
Okay. I'm going to stand on the silver tray they're bringing her, like hop up on it, knocking stuff over. I'm gonna slap the person saying that, and I'm gonna be like,
Are you kidding? This is the time to worry. This is the time. She's not wrong. It's a scary time. I've never seen this many goblins.
Okay, so this is a very interesting interaction because when you slap Yasmina Al-Hindi, who is a Gorgon, you fall from the tray, right? Because she's holding the tray. And basically you fall down and she lifts her veil like this with her forearm. And for a second, you see these burning, collapsing.
I look her right in her face, Miller.
What do you got?
Supernovae.
We've tried your way. We're trying my way now.
I'm immune to petrification.
Yes, that's right. so tanukis are strangely immune to petrification because they can turn themselves into stone. And so anyone else would see this mass of writhing snakes and these incredibly bright glowing eyes.
I'm also
and be turned to stone.
I'm also gonna quietly whisper to her from my back. I'm gonna be like,
Good cop, bad cop.
So she lowers her veil again and kind of like straightens herself out and like kind of regains her composure, and says the Tanuki does have a point. We do need to have a plan, and I understand that Commander Amara is going to be briefing us very soon. My hope is that, Contessa, you will be in a position to listen to all the options when Amara returns. And she says to you folks, you're welcome to stay. Of course, we understand that you were very helpful in Amara's quest to go to fight the orcs who were acting as commanders for the Goblin Legion, and so you're welcome to stay. So Friar Elijah is kind of like mumbling to himself. He's going like, and he's kind of going around like the room, and he's kind of like peeking out the windows and stuff. And then Commander Amara sort of strides in, and she immediately captures the attention of everybody in the room. Contessa Vincenza is like hanging off her every word, and Amara says, "We have supplies to last us for 17 days."
That's it.
That's 17
very
days
long.
worth of supplies because of the number of people. Unless we're going to start allowing people to starve, we have supplies for 17 days.
Go without food for 3 weeks.
Like fit and healthy people can. This is like the Middle Ages. These people aren't fit or healthy. They're like elderly people and children and stuff like that.
Well, then we have a renewable food source.
Buddy.
Right. Okay, so leaving that solution side,
I have a hard time pulling my eyes away from La Habre after that comment.
Some may have trouble with this period, some may not.
I'm just kind of doing the whole, like, you've seen that budgie meme where it's like looking one way, then it looks directly,
Yeah.
and then it looks back.
So Amara says that she intends to go to Watergo to destroy the idol, because if she can destroy the idol, then perhaps she can break the organization of these goblins. Maybe they won't be able to lay siege to the hamlet as effectively as they're doing. Now, the three of you know, because you've spoken with Kemet, that you actually need to retrieve the idol for Kemet to reverse engineer and break the spell. So, and you also know that you can't touch the idol with your bare hands. Now, you can say those things right now if you want, or you can keep quiet. But Commander Amara continues and says that she intends to go out to try to destroy the idol. But then Vincenza is like, oh, no, please. Please, you can't leave us here all alone. However will we defend ourselves? You can't possibly.
I agree. Commander Amara is far too invaluable to leave the defense of the keep. My friends
Look,
and I,
lady,
we
they're lost
volunteer
without
to
you.
go and retrieve the idol and destroy it in your stead.
Wait, Will, what? Again.
Yes. Sometimes it calls for delicate touch.
And
You guys get me into so
and-
much trouble.
Vincenza is very concerned, but she breathes like a sigh of relief knowing that Amara is going to be there in the keep, and she's like, all right, you can do this, but 17 days is not a lot of time. 17 days is so very little time. 17 days is very, very little time. I don't
It is
know what
more than
what I
enough
can do.
time. All we need to do is make sure that the Tree of Wands is safe and protected and unmolested.
Healthy and hale.
Because the Tree of Wands is the most important part, the most beautiful living thing. It is the whole reason that we are coming together to strive.
My friend.
If the tree died, it's like cutting your own throat. So anyone who could possibly think of cutting down the tree would be like, well, just kill yourself right now.
Okay, so I need you to roll persuasion so we can determine whether or not that was like an Emmy Award-winning like call to battle, call to arms kind of speech, or whether or not that was like, what are you talking about, you weird stand-up comedian?
6.
Hey!
6.
Wow.
Everybody in the room is like, we really do need to preserve that Tree of Wands as a symbol. And then Contessa says, Vincenza says, all right, okay, we'll preserve the Tree of Wands and we won't cut it down for the wands, but you must come back with the idol. You must come back with the idol, because if we don't have it, I don't see that there'd be any other option but to cut the tree and use it for the wands. So please come back. And everybody in the room, Yasmin Al-Kindi, Friar Elijah, and Commander Amara, they're like, Contessa, let's not jump to that option. Let's not cut the tree for its wands. Let's let this play out, and hopefully these 3 adventurers will be able to get that idol and destroy it.
What's the kobold doing?
Pardon?
What's the kobold doing?
The
Yeah.
kobold is eating crumbs
Nice.
off of like yeah.
I'm gonna.
I wonder if the kobold was whispering lies into the Countess's ear, but then I forgot that kobolds are real dumb.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
This kobold is smart, I tell you what. Like, that's a
Compared-
good living for a kobold.
Out of the.
Just at. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Bo.
I was gonna say, out of the 3 advisors, I guess the one who I think I trust the most would be the Gorgon. And I, at some point, am going to kind of not corner her, but like talk to her quietly and ask her if there's been any new voices in the Contessa's ear in the past couple of months.
You just slapped her in the face.
That was
man.
me.
That was
I actually
him.
do want to
I'm a
apologize
genteel.
at some point.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, sorry. I was just in a moment. I am
My
sorry.
friend, he's very
Okay,
excited.
roll your persuasion.
Me
Okay.
Mesmerizer.
or him? Oh, both of us.
So it's just a straight roll, or is
It's
that
just a
what?
straight d6 unless you have the skill.
Okay, 5.
Okay. So she's like, she kind of like hears you out. And you're asking what sort of like new voices have there been in
Yeah, because specifically, I've noticed the contest. It keeps mentioning this possibility of destroying the tree of wands for its wands, which no one present seems to think is a wise idea, ourselves included. Who might be putting this idea in her head?
The Yasmina Al-Kindi is pretty like diplomatic, and she's like, I think we're all of one voice and united in purpose. That is not the preferable option, and that it would only be something that we would go to as a last resort. However, I have heard it mentioned on more than one occasion by Commander Amara.
Uh-huh. Oh, John!
But only as a last resort.
Heartbreak.
Interesting. Okay.
So,
I could hear Normalman's heart
but she says,
break.
but then again, Friar Elijah often has private meetings with the Contessa because he is her confessor.
Right. Interesting. Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. And Mike and my friend apologizes for the slap in the face. It was
For that egregious slap.
he's very excitable chap.
Yeah. So
To be fair, it was like I am also super weak, so it'd be like a doll hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting slapped by a kitten.
Yeah. or a stuffed animal. Okay, so that takes us to about midnight. If you guys want to do any planning for the next session, I assume what you're going to do is you're going to head out and try to capture the
idol?
The idol of Kava. But what you do with the idol of Kava at that point is up to you.
Take it for ourselves,
Touch it all over.
Touch it all over.
I'm gonna need a tub of Vaseline jelly.
Summon Kava ourselves and watch the world burn. It's gonna be great.
Yep. Okay. Thanks very much for playing, and I guess I'll see you guys next week. Hopefully one of these days we'll get Jackie back, eh?
Yeah, and Jay. That'll be the finale. Hey, I'm surprised we did not party wipe.
No kidding.
That was a big
down in our own fashion, but
yeah, I was very close.
I think MVP was Bo tonight.
Out of curiosity, how many hit points did the mushroom sword have left?
Yeah,
the Funga-saurous had 350 HP in total, and you dealt 88 damage to it
in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, if we'd had a few more,
and then we were all killed. So
yeah.
I wonder whether or not if you had like a really constant healer, if you would have been able to do.
But you look at me when you say that.
I don't know, because like each one of those
I kept not getting EP. That didn't help either. Twice.
Yeah, same here. I got it once.
Yeah, and like we were getting like 25 damage per round.
Yeah.
And all of our healers heal like 16 at best.
Yeah.
It would slow.
You know what?
I'll get to quite a bit.
The damage that the Funga-saurous was doing was perhaps exaggerated by the fact that I crit and max damage
That's true.
like a few times.
Yeah.
Right. And
but if we had a cleric, they probably wouldn't have very high con, so they would probably constantly be getting spored.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it would have been a tough fight one way or another.
Either way. But hey, it was fun. It was fun.
We'll be back. We'll take it down.
Yeah.
Do need an episode name. We forgot to do it last time.
Funga-saurous Rex.
That's a
Normalman-splaining.
It was Bitey McBlooddrinker or something, or Neck Bitey Man, or
Drinky make a bite.
That might have actually been a better title for the last episode, because that's where
Yeah.
you actually like
Yeah.
drenched yourself in blood. But yeah. Anyway,
Pretty great.
Funga-saurous Rex. And that sounds like a band name. Funga-saurous Rex and the
The meaty three.
Normalman-splaining with Funga-saurous Rex.
There we go.
That's a
okay.
long
Well,
title.
actually,
All right. Well, thanks very much for playing, everybody, and thanks for listening and watching. And check us out, and we'll see you again in about a week. I hope I'll be back to work, so hopefully I can swing this. But yeah, stick around, and we'll be back. Have a good night, everybody.
say hi to your new cat for me, Bo.
I will.
That's
He's
true.
a sweet guy.
All
All
right.
right.
See you guys.
Have a good
Good
night.
And tonight's episodes have all been Creative Commons music, and also Sirenscape, so big shout out to that. Don't forget to check us out. Follow and like and subscribe would be much appreciated. Hey, tell a friend if you want to, because we always love to have some more people join in the adventure. Take care, and we'll see you when we see you. Take care. Good night.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?